Hey, welcome to the Relentless Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin, and my guest today is Bruce Brackett. He's an artist, a motivational speaker, an advocate for mental health, recovery, and positivity. He's exactly what we need today in this show. Bruce, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. I am honored to be a part of your relentless positivity. So here we go.
Man, you live it every day, so you're perfect for the show, man. So I'm gonna kind of bring it back. So you didn't start in much positivity, so kind of bring it back. I mean, you're born literally from day one. The deck is stacked against you. Kind of take us way back and start how you began.
Yeah, we all have to go through a journey to get to where it is that we want to go. And, no one has it figured out. We all really just kind of play the trial and error as we go. And for me, yeah, the odds were stacked against me. Being born into detox from drugs and alcohol, entering the world into a very abusive upbringing for the first 3 cognitive years of my life, and then being removed by the state of Montana, going through foster care, later on being adopted. And from the very beginning of that, obviously, just because you're removed from a traumatic situation doesn't mean that the trauma leaves you and all is better, that follows you for a long time. So I spent, oh, good God, really, I'm still in therapy and I'm 33 years old, but the first 18 years after I was removed, I was heavily in trauma therapy and just really trying to overcome that. Being an open gay man growing up in rural Montana was no cakewalk. Like that was not something that was super easy. There are other people that are LGBTQIA plus in Montana, but in early the late 90s and the early aughts, I didn't have many people that I could just look at and identify with and be like, oh my God, you're exactly like me, or I'm not alone. I felt very alone. And so when I was going through the peak of my puberty, I ran away from home and to go find those people that I could identify with. And that just led down the road of drugs, sex, mischief, like very dangerous. So yeah, the odds were stacked against me, but I also put the odds against myself.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, some people, you get put in this bad situations, how you respond kind of determine the rest of your life. So,
Yeah.
so when you did get adopted, what was that? Was that feel like? All right, this is just another bad situation with another family, or is this, hey, this is finally kind of getting a little relief from this abuse?
Yeah, I write heavily about that within the first 3 chapters of my book, How to Breathe While Suffocating. The first 3 chapters are exactly that. And it was the sensation of what I write when I was removed from my birth home and I was placed. I still remember it to this day. It is so vivid to me. I was taken by the social worker and handed off to a police officer, and they put me in the car seat, in the back seat, and I just felt like I was inflating, just becoming this, like a balloon, just growing to the point where my head was going to hit the ceiling of the car. And I just felt this freedom, this weight, this giant weight that was holding me down lift. And as we were leaving, I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's very, very interesting sensation that came over me. And I think that's what it was. Obviously, I wasn't inflating, but the feeling of freedom came almost immediately. And it was so painful. I was so confused. I kept asking, like, where's my mom? Where's my mom? Who's going to be my mom? And then every single woman that came into my life from then, in the first years after being removed, I would just flat out be like, hey, do you want to be my mom? Like, I would ask every single female. It didn't matter if it was a preschool teacher, the high school student, like I would ask everyone because I was so hurt and just confused and angry and thinking that I didn't have a mom anymore. So I write a lot about that excuse me, within the first three chapters. But it did get easier. And when I came into care of my adoptive parents, who are mom and dad, I call them mom and dad because they're the ones who raised me. And they took me in and my sisters in when I was about four, like just turning four. And they adopted us when I was 6.5. And they are saints. They are amazing. They struggled. They had the opportunity and the financial withal to be able to put us into trauma therapy and to get us the help that we needed. And they took in 5 extremely traumatized children, and we have all turned out to be amazing, successful human beings, and whatever level of success that is, but we made it to adulthood safely, and they did their job and they still love us. They're still there for us. Yeah, they're really incredible. So I eventually found my mom and dad again, and it was so much better than how it really could have gone.
Yeah. Oh man, those are angels on this earth, man. That's for sure. People like that just open up their homes and hearts to people that no blood
Yeah.
relation. That's just amazing. One, much less 5. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah, I know. I don't know what they were thinking.
Man, I got one dog and I got one kid, and that's too much for me. I can't
There you
imagine
go.
5 kids. That's man. Those people are amazing. That's awesome.
I'm
Shout out to your
I'm
mom and dad.
right. Yeah. I'm so glad that you know your limits. One dog, one kid, that's too
That's
much.
it,
I'm
man. That's
done.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Got to know your limits in life, right? So, I mean, you were the guy that kind of test some limits. So you decided, hey, I'm going
Oh
to move
boy.
to New York City. I'm going to go see what's out there in the Big
Hmm.
Apple. I'm going to go try and make it on Broadway. So tell me a little bit about that journey and how that process worked. You just got to pick up? Did you plan? How did it go?
So I've always wanted to live in New York City ever since my birth mom sent me a postcard when I was about like 5 or 6 years old. She sent me this postcard that had an aerial shot of New York. And I was like, whoa, what is this place? That looks magical. I want to go there. And when I was 13, 12 or 13, after I had just done a production of Oliver Twist, starring as Oliver Twist in Montana, my parents heard of the national tour that was happening. So my dad flew me out and I auditioned for Oliver in New York. And it was my first time being there. And immediately when I got off the bus and stepped out of the Port Authority bus terminal there, I was like, I looked around and I looked at my dad and was like, yep, I'm going to live here. And fast forward, I, my gosh, 16, 17, 18, I really started saving money. I was in a dance academy. I was in every single theater production at the community theater center. So I was really gaining my own education within that world, and fueling the fire to move to New York. And because after I ran away from home, I then had like a juvenile criminal record. So I wasn't able to go back into public school. So I graduated by the higher powers that be. I fortunately graduated and sobered up after I came back home from running away. And I turned 18, graduated high school, packed my bags, and moved to New York City. And it was that version of being in a pink cloud where it's just so magical and everything is amazing. Well, that pink cloud popped within 2 weeks. Because New York is a beast, like it's gonna put you through the ringer and it's gonna test you, but that's what qualifies you to become a New Yorker. And it was really challenging. It was auditioning all the time for like the first year and a half, going to dance classes, vocal lessons, uh auditioning, and I got very small minor things here and there. And I was so naive, and I just listened to the rejection, and I gave up. I put that dream on a shelf, and I was like, how else am I going to dance and make money? Oh, I can be a go-go dancer in a club and like have fun, dance, and still make money. Red flag. No, not okay for Bruce. Brucey can't do that. because drugs, sex, alcohol, it came like a tsunami again very, very quickly. And that just really, put me in the blender and led me down the hardcore life of meth and escort sex work. And um yeah, I really did not show up for myself in any way, let alone trying to be on Broadway and auditioning. See, like what I didn't know then that I know now is rejection is not rejection, it's redirection towards your yes. So keep going, and you will get your yes. So now I know that. Um, and I eventually, after sobering up from crystal meth and other hardcore drugs, started to get my life back again with the help of outpatient rehab programs and 12-step programs and therapy. Started doing the work for myself again. I started working for a drag queen friend of mine, Schwa. Shout out to Schwa, I love you. Who really gave me a chance again and gave me a job as a housekeeper for their cleaning company, and started working again, started to get that self-confidence and like, oh, I can do things. And I started auditioning again, and lo and behold, I got an off-Broadway show. And that's where I met my incredible partner Teo, and we've been together ever since 8 years ago. Yeah, so I got an off-Broadway show, just a kiss away from Broadway, and went through that, had an amazing time, as well as I had a really hard time with it. And not too long into it, just realized I was like, I don't know if this is actually what I want to be doing. Like I had this dream for so long, and then I showed up to it, and I was like, I don't know if that's it for me. Do I love performing? Yes. Would I go back? Absolutely. Regional theater, sure. But Broadway? I don't know if that's for me, and it's more on a political thing that happens behind the scenes. Um, and I'm glad I followed the wind, because here I am today doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
That's awesome, man. So how did you get sober? What was the turning point? How did you? I mean, was it a long-term problem, or were you just cold turkey?
Oh
How
yeah.
did you do it?
Oh no, I am not a first time winner. I've relapsed so many times. So I'm approaching 10 years sober from hardcore drugs, and I'm in my first year of recovery from alcohol and marijuana.
Awesome.
Um, it took a lot, looking back when I was becoming sober from meth and crack and coke and ketamine and Molly, and I mean every hardcore drug under the sun. Excuse me. I was dying. I had pneumonia. I had acute hep C. My HIV diagnosis was borderline AIDS. I was overdosing. It was really bad. So I was hospitalized from an overdose, and then that's when I found out I had pneumonia and acute hep C, and that my HIV was almost AIDS. Um, and that really shook something in me. I really had to, the 10, 12 days, whatever it was that I was in the hospital, I had nothing better to do than to really sit and reflect and look at my actions. And um, there's always been this little spark, this ember inside of me that is who I really am, those dreams, those goals, ambitions. And I just held on to that as hard as I could. Um, and gave up. I surrendered. I started asking for help. I showed up to outpatient rehabs. I went to 12-step programs. I relapsed constantly in the beginning. It definitely wasn't easy, but the more I showed up for myself and the more I accepted the help, the better it became. And soon after, probably like, excuse me, I'm very burpy today. I think it's this coffee. I about a year into really, really trying, um, maybe it was less than a year, it clicked. And I just continued going with it. And then, of course, the addiction brain starts to lie to you. Like a few years after I sobered up from hard drugs, I was like, well, I've never had a problem with alcohol. I am an addict across the board. I can't have a half a cookie. I have to have the whole case, you know? Um, so yeah, that I dove down into another addiction with alcohol. And that was around the time of being off Broadway too. So I I had an amazing time through it, but I also was numbing it. And self-sabotage is a huge problem for me. Something successful comes along and I'm like, how can I mess this up? I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. Which is what a lot of therapy has helped me with. And you know, like I'm facing a lot of really great things right now. I'm going to Vegas for the Cheer Choice Awards. I've got 18 cities coming up for my book tour. I actually wrote a freaking book. Like,
Way to
and
go.
you
Way to
know,
go,
now
man.
it's out into the world on April 9th. And like, here it is. They just
Oh,
sent it to me the other day. And
feels so
it's
good holding your hand, doesn't it?
oh my God. Like, I can smell it. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's beautiful. And it's reality. It's truth. It is my story. Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to leave something that'll be here when you're gone, right? Your story's going to be
It's
helping people forever.
oh gosh, I hope so. You know, that's why I wrote it, is so that people can see themselves in their own struggles and also reflect and see what it is that they've already overcome, and to shut that piece of their brain off that says you're alone, you're the only one going through this, you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough. No, that's all bullshit. Just realize that you are right where you need to be. The struggles and the journey that you're going through is exactly what you need to be learning from to get to where it is that you want to be. And you're not alone doing it. So keep going. You know, those are huge reasons why I wrote the book. I really want people to know that they too can overcome and recover if they show up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you've had a huge impact. You've been featured on Forbes and NPR. You've got over 1 million people that follow you. All your moves and things you're doing. You're going and presenting awards and writing books. How do you think you've made such an impact, and why do you think people kind of vibe with what you do?
Oh, you know, I still don't know how to answer that question. I think just there's something about showing up and being honest and vulnerable, showing the ugly side of recovery as well as the positivity. You know, it's the yin and the yang. This is life. This is how it goes. It's not always rainbows and sunshine and 80-degree weather. You know, the storm clouds come and there's definitely monsoons or even hurricanes. Um, in recovery. And I think because I share all of those things, it just makes it more real for people. Um, you know, and I'm not naive. I know that people just show up for the deep wait in the beginning of my videos or the fan clapping or the fashion or, you know, so um, I think people come from all walks of life for all different reasons. And I'm so honored and I love it. I love the community that we've created on social media. I love seeing when someone gets it. They have that, oh, this is what you've been saying all along. And guess what? I actually showed up and I got the job. Or I graduated freaking college, or I've been sober for 7 days. Like, just to see that come through, it just makes everything worth it, you know? To see other people show up in their own success is unlike anything else. Um, how I am doing what I'm doing right now, I have no idea. It is a lot. I just take it one day at a time. There, yeah. I take it one day at a time. That's
There you go.
how.
Hey, don't
Um,
question if it's working, man. Don't question it. Keep on rolling with it, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's it. So you have a great phrase, negativity be gone. And it's not what some people might think it is. Can you explain kind of what you mean by that?
Yeah. So I'm a huge manifester, and I really I'm good at manifesting, and I'm spiritual. There, like I said earlier, there's always the good, there's always the bad. Life is yin and yang. And when we have a choice to sit down and focus on anything, what do you really want to focus on? What do you want to attract to your life? And what do you want to put out into the world? Um, do you want to be stuck in just the funk and negativity and just absorb that, and then eventually that's what you're spewing out into the world. No, thank you. Negativity be gone. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that I'm not willing to allow that negative toxicity or drama into my life anymore, because I've done that for so long and it just didn't work. So yeah, negativity be gone. I don't have time for it anymore. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but I do have the power of choice to dwell in the power of positivity and see where that takes me.
See,
And
that's why you're on this show, man. See,
yeah,
we got the exact same viewpoint on that, because I get a lot of pushback on relentless positivity. Like, come on, man, you can't have relentless positivity. But like you said, it's just a choice. Like, you get up
yeah,
and choose what kind of clothes you put on. Why not choose your attitude? Why not choose the good side of life? Because I'm with you, man. I got to the point in my life where I was suicidal because all I focused on was all the crap going wrong in my life, and I got to the point it almost ended it all. But I now reached out and looked for one positive. What is one little thing I have going on in my life? Oh, there's one, and what do you know? There's two and three. Once you start
yeah,
opening your eyes up, right, it's just about making a choice, right?
it is. It is. You can change the trajectory of your day at any moment. It might be the worst day in the world, but then when you sit back and you really look at all of those options that you're blind to, and then you start to see the domino effect. Oh, okay, I actually have a lot, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah, it's really the power of choice.
yeah, and just like you said, you don't ignore the bad things. They're not just not happening, and all that. They're going to be there. That's always going to be there. But you don't have to focus on that either. You made the right choice. So, you brought it up a couple times. Tell us a little bit more about the book, man. It sounds like a great thing, and it's out April 9th. And tell us where we can find it first of all, and then a little bit more about it.
Yeah, sure. So How to Breathe While Suffocating, a story of overcoming addiction, recovering from trauma, and healing my soul is the title of the book, with the subtitle attached to it, of course. Yeah, it comes out April 9th. It's available on pre-order now anywhere books are sold, anywhere in the world, which is just mind-boggling to
Yeah.
me. But bookshop.org is a really great way that you can not only um support bookshop.org, but you support independent bookstores by shopping through them, because they give back to independent bookstores all over. But you know, Barnes and Noble, your independent bookstore, Amazon, Walmart, Target, anywhere that books are sold, available for pre-order, and it comes out April 9th. San Francisco is going to be the kickoff for my book tour on April 9th, so that's literally right around the corner. I'm very excited about it. Um, and this is just a raw in look of my life and what it was before I chose positivity. So there's, I mean, all of the rough roller coaster, Hurricane Bruce, I mean, the addictions, the deep addictions, the sex work, um, the abuse, all of it is in this book, and it is what led me to go down the road that I'm in today. So this is part one. Part two will be more of what's happened in the recent last 10 years, from when I sobered up from crystal meth is when the second book kind of picks up. But yeah, again, this is a story of having feeling like you're alone, having the odds stacked against you, and what it is if you're willing to just grab onto that negativity, where it takes you and what can happen from that. You know, again, I wrote this so that people can feel less alone in their own struggles. I know that we all have a completely different life, and some might have really horrible, horrific, even worse situations that they've overcome, but we're all overcoming something. You know, don't compare your journey to someone else. Comparison is the thief of joy. You know, when you compare yourself to others, you become bitter. When you compare yourself to yourself, you become so much better.
Yeah.
So we're all going through something, we're all recovering from something, and to allow yourself to forgive yourself. I just answered a question about self-forgiveness on Quora, which is where Forbes picked up that article. And, you know, we have a hard time forgiving ourselves, but it seems like we almost have an easier time forgiving others. And if you can just choose, again, everything is a choice. So if you can choose that self-forgiveness and allow your past to just be in the past, learn from it, reflect on it, but don't live in it, forgive yourself, pick up, and keep moving forward because so much good is coming your way if you keep moving forward. So,
Man. So, man, you were born into addiction from day one, and you're about to go
yeah,
on a book tour, man. How awesome is that, man?
I know.
Hey, I know I just met you, man. I'm proud of you, man. That's so awesome. That's
Oh,
so
thank
so
you.
that's so cool, man. You've A lot of people don't make it like that, right? They give up or they go down an even darker path, and you
Yeah.
made something huge out of it. And you're sharing your struggles. So many people keep that stuff inside, and no one can benefit from it in there. So you're out there, and I know it's not easy sharing those struggles, man, but you're helping so many people, and yours what's needed in this world right now. So thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So let me before we go out, what's one piece of advice everyone should know?
Ah, boy. So much. I learn everything and be open-minded about learning and accepting what you don't know. Accepting others that are different from you. And okay, so I'm gonna leave you with my father's three do's. This is something that I cherish. Um, do your best, do no harm, and do for yourself every single day so that you too can eventually do for others. If you can't do for others, it just means that you need to be doing for yourself, and that's okay.
Wow, that's strong right there. Need to be a T-shirt
Yeah,
or something right there. So
I know, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
your dad's a smart guy. So uh, just one more thing. Hey, where can people follow you? Keep up with all the awesome stuff you have going on.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I'm bwb.positivity on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. My websites are bwbart.com, which really kind of shows a lot more of my portrait artwork that I do. And the book's website, howtobreathewhilesuffocating.com, that website has all of the information about the book as well as the book tour and how you can RSVP to all of the different events.
Cool. I will link all that in show notes. People can just click on that because they're not probably not like me, not very good spellers, so they can go check that out. But that's awesome, man. You got a lot of good stuff going on. Make sure you're following all those. Just click them on there, the one you're most interested in. Make sure you get a copy of that book and share this episode with somebody. There's somebody out there that thinks they're alone, that thinks they're the only one going through something.
Mhm.
Hey, and Bruce, man, he's been through a ton, and he can tell you you're not alone. There's someone out there that's going to help you through your struggles, through your addictions, whatever's going on. Be a part of his community. I guarantee there's someone going through what you're going through right now, and they're going to help you out. So, Bruce, keep up the great work, man. We need more people like you out in the world, just sharing their struggles and let them know, hey, you too can get through this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And I want to say that I am very proud of you as well. Thank you so much for having this little piece of the world where you are promoting and showing positivity. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. We need more of it out in the world. So, hey, if you're listening right now, please share this episode. It's going to help somebody. I can guarantee you. So share it out and then go pick up a copy of that book. That's going to help some people as well. Maybe go get it signed on the book tour. Go check them out live. See them in person. So that's
Yep.
going to be fun, man. So one more, man? I got one. What's the city you're looking most forward to visiting?
Oh my gosh. I'm excited about it all. I love to travel. I love to see places that I've never been. I've never been to Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm excited to go there, check out Detroit and fumble around that area and see what I can stir up. Obviously, I'm going to behave and stay sober. My partner Teo is coming with me to all of the cities. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer that. All of them.
There you go.
I'm
Good
very
answer.
excited. Yeah, all of them. I'm excited about the travel and just to meet everyone who has bought the book and supported the community or been a part of the community. That's what it's about for me. So,
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So
yeah.
please, like I said, share this episode. Help celebrate Bruce's sobriety out there on the book tour. Thanks so much for being there. And we'll see you guys next week on the Relentless Positivity Podcast. Wow, what a great episode. You just share that with somebody. I'm going to share with you some awesome sponsors. McWilliams Marketing. They can help your business grow. Regardless of the size of the project, you're going to get a solution that is specifically created for you and your business. No cookie cutter, one size fits approach here. So Amy and her band of fearless marketers can help you with all that stuff that
you think you can do, but you're not really that good at it, you don't have time for it. They can do that. They're the experts. It's what they do. Web design, online conversion optimization, SEO, graphic design, marketing, page management, all that stuff. Go let them do that. Don't handle that yourself. Go check them out at mcwilliamsmarketing.com. See what all they can do. They're amazing people. Teak Patnick with Patnick Realty. He really does it all in the real estate world. General real estate sales, acquisitions, property management, investments, all that good stuff. You're not just a transaction with Teak. He really wants to build a relationship for life with you. He has built his whole business on prayer, hard work ethic, honesty, and results. You can trust Patnick Realty with all your real estate needs. Hey, I trust my brother from another mother, Teak, and you should too. Give him a call, 256-694-0117, or email him at teak@patnickco.com. Hey, these are awesome businesses. Go support them. They're out supporting positivity, and they will do you right. Have an awesome day.